Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lizzie. Today I'm going to show you a detailed tutorial on how I achieved this particular gele, the one on your screen, and this is a bridal gele. You don't want to miss this at all. This is going to teach you how to tie gele, definitely, just in case you are finding it difficult and you are just a beginner, especially as a makeup artist here in Africa. If this is your first time of watching me, please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. So the first thing I did was to fold the edges of the gele, and then I went ahead to make just about 5 pleats. So you could actually make just 4 pleats or 5 pleats depending on how big your gele is and how you want it to be at the back, whether you want it to be open or you want it to be closed. So right now I'm going to trace the pleats properly on the left hand side and also on the right hand side to make sure that they are properly laid. And I'm going to pick up this ashoke like this, and I'm going to place it on the mannequin from the back to the front. I'm using this mannequin as my model today so that you guys can see how it is, and you guys know that mannequins are usually very slippery, so I'm going to try as much as possible to work it out the best way that I can. So after placing it on the mannequin from the back to the front, I'm going to make sure that I trace the pleats properly so that it looks neat and properly laid. So the rule for this particular gele today is 50-50. Just make sure that your gele is as long enough for you to divide it and then work with it. Just make sure that it's very long, and also make sure that your gele is thick. Mine is actually too thick for this particular tutorial, but I just had to work with it. So make sure that your gele is not too soft. Make sure it's thick so that your fans can stand. So this is me holding the gele at the middle like this. I'm going to switch places. I'm going to take the one at the right hand side to the left hand side like this, and I'm just going to twist everything. So like I said, make sure that your gele is 50-50. You're dividing the gele into 2, and at the middle make sure that your gele is as flat as possible. Your pleats at the middle of your model's head or your client's head is as flat as possible. Then you can then switch everything up. So after doing that, I'm going to work with just one hand of the gele, but since it's a mannequin and I can't tell the mannequin to hold the gele down for me, I'm going to use pin to secure the gele 2 times so that while I tie, it doesn't move, because as you know, this is just a rubber mannequin. Mannequins are made of rubber. So I'm just going to pin that down 2 times so that it stays put while I work with the other hand of the gele, which is the 50 part of the gele right there. So at this point, I'm going to pick the other hand of the gele, and I'll start by arranging my pleats properly so that it comes out very fine. So I'll start working with the first fold that I made initially on the base gele. So I'll trace the first pleat down like this and move ahead to the second pleat. Well, I'll be working with my 2 hands. So one hand is going to be down and the other hand is going to be at the top of the gele. So I'm just going to keep tracing the pleats like this from the first to the second to the third and all of that until I get to the top of the gele. Make sure that you're arranging everything properly. So you're picking from the top of the gele downwards. You're picking from top downwards. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use my fingers to work that all the way through. So you have to make sure that the top of the gele, the pleat at the top of the gele, is bigger than the pleat at the lower part of the gele. So I'm going to pick this pleat like this right now. So this lower part has to be small while the top of the pleat has to be quite big. So this is what I'm going to keep doing. I'll just keep tracing and tracing until I start making my fan. This is where I get to start making my fan. So I'm going to make the pleats from this part to the other part of the gele like this, just the usual way that we make fan pleats. So this is how I'm going to continue to do until I reach the end of the gele. So guys, as I keep going down, this is how the height of the gele will continually reduce. So as you keep going downwards, make sure that you are reducing the height of the gele. It's not going to be as long as it was when you initially started. So after making the pleats like this, I'm going to trace it down properly. Remember that one hand is holding the pleats inside, that is at the back of the mannequin, while the other hand is doing the arranging. So you need to make sure that you're using both hands so that everything will be secured and nice. So what I will do right now is I'm going to twist the remaining hand of the gele like this. The point where I stopped making the pleats, I'm going to place my hand there, one of my hands, and I'm just going to make sure that the other hand is doing the twisting. So you need to make sure that you place one hand at the point where you stop making the pleats at the back of the head, while the other hand does the twisting. If you don't do that, you're going to lose the pleats entirely. So at this point, you could actually knot the gele, but what I will do right now is just to twist one hand of the gele to the back and pin it, and make sure that you pin that properly. You could actually pin like 2-3 times to make sure that the gele does not fall off from your client's head. So you can see that that is firmly done and it's coming out nice already. So once you're done doing that, you go ahead to the front and arrange your pleats so that everything stands well. So at this point, I'm going to pick the other hand of the gele and then repeat basically the same process. What I did on the right hand side, I'm going to do on the left hand side, or what I did on the left hand side, I'm going to do on the right hand side, as the case may be. So this particular ashoke is really old and is already bringing out thread, so I'm going to pick up my scissors and then cut out the edges, the parts where the threads are already running out. I'm going to cut it out so that the gele looks neat, because it matters a lot. Apart from your pleats looking neat, your gele on its own has to look neat. So if you have loose ends, you need to make sure you cut that out so that you have a very neat gele. So I'll basically repeat the same process at this point. I'll place one hand at the top of the gele and the other hand stays under, tracing the pleats. Remember to always trace your pleats, because if you miss it, it's not going to come out like this. So if you're having 10 pleats from the top, you need to make sure that even when you get under, that's the end of the pleat, your pleats need to be 10 at the end. That's the trick, guys. So you need to make sure that you trace the pleats, because if you don't trace it, you will not get this at all. You will not get this style at all. So I'm going to, like I said, place one hand at the top of the gele to make sure that it's high enough, almost about the same height with the first one that I did initially. So this is how I'm going to keep tracing, and like I said, as you're coming down, that's how your pleats should be getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So at this point, I'm just about done making my pleats. I'm just going to repeat the same thing that I did. I'll place one hand at the back of the gele to receive, that's to collect the pleat, and that particular hand will be tracing the pleats to the back, because I want a very neat job. So this is what I'm going to do. After tracing the pleats to the back of the model's head or your mannequin like this, when you see that your pleats have been properly traced, you need to make sure that you go to the back of the gele and then twist the remaining hand of the pleats like we initially did for the first hand of the gele. So I'll quickly turn the mannequin to the back and then make sure that one of my hands is holding down the pleats while the other hand twists the pleats like this. I'm holding down those pleats like that just because I don't want everything to unravel. I want to make sure that everything stays secure and properly the mannequin's head. So like I said before, at this point you could actually knot the gele, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do twisting, reverse twisting, and I'm going to pin everything. So you can pin 2 times, 3 times, whatever works for you, as long as the gele is secured. And you can use more than that amount of pins as long as you check and you see that the gele is just about the way you want it to be. So I'm going to bring the mannequin to the front like this, face it to the front. It's quite different when you're tying on a mannequin than when you're tying on someone, but it's just almost about the same thing. I just feel like if you're tying for someone, it's easier to ask the person to hold, to hold the pleats down for you while you go ahead to work your way through and arrange the gele properly to make sure that everything is good. So right now I'm going to check the fans on the both sides. If they are not equal, I'm going to try as much as possible to make them equal. So that's what I'll be doing. At this point, I'm basically just arranging the pleats properly so that it looks good and so that it comes out nice. So I'm just going to chip in at this point. If you've not watched my previous videos on how to tie gele, I have lots of amazing stuffs for you guys. I'm going to link some of them up in this video so that you guys can see and you can learn how to easily tie your gele either on yourself or on a model or a client. So I'm basically just taking my time to arrange the pleats properly so that it looks good, and for the middle where there is this intersection, we'll arrange that properly as well. So this is what the back of the gele would look like if you're going to do the whole twisting and all. If you're not going to knot it, this is what the back would look like. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I do hope that it was helpful. If it was, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe guys. Like I said, if you've not watched my previous videos on how to tie gele, I have lots of amazing videos for you guys, makeup videos and other videos as well. So I'm just going to link them up to this particular one so that you guys can go and watch them. If you love any, please don't forget to hit the like button and also comment. So this is it guys, this is it. This is what it takes to tie this particular bridal style. It's not really difficult, and practice, they say, makes perfect. So as long as you keep doing and doing it, your hands keep getting better. So it's very easy to pull off the twisting style than the knotting style anyways, just to chip that in. If you secure all the important points properly, the gele is definitely not going to fall off and it's going to look good. Thank you all for watching my videos. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit the notification button, turn it on, like just tap on that so that anytime I post you get the notification and you'll be the first to know. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to see you all in my next video. Bye.